Yo, what's good? Welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports. You know what? I kind of want to do it like, welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports. You know, just something.
Vince McMahon.
Rumble House
Sports.
Welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports, baby. I'm your host, Jay.
And this is Chris.
This is Red Man.
And this is where we talk about everything pro wrestling. We talk about all things that are good in the world of pro wrestling, baby. Y'all ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, man, let's jump into it. So first, let's start off with the fact that Eric Bischoff is barking again, saying that Punk is being misused within the AEW. And I'm actually glad he said this because that was kind of my issue with AEW. Not necessarily him being misused. Eric Bischoff says that all he has to do is just come and sprinkle a little Punk dust on his opponent, and then that kind of some way elevates his opponent. Like, people are excited, yay, Punk is coming, and then he's there, yay, Punk is there, and then he leaves, yay, Punk left. That's kind of his whole situation. I gotta agree with Eric Bischoff on this, but Eric Bischoff just can't let this go, can he, Red?
Nah, man, he just can't. I think it's funny because reading, when I first heard about this and I got to read up a little bit more on it, my first initial reaction was that, man, Eric Bischoff just cannot let AEW be. I mean, and we had this conversation before. I mean, so what if they constantly compare themselves to the old school WCW? I mean, if that's how they feel, let them have that. You know what I'm saying? If that's what they want to use to motivate themselves to try to go up in this new wrestling war, if you want to call it, against WWE, if that's what they need to motivate themselves, if I'm Eric Bischoff, I would actually use that as, a compliment that they're using, WCW is kind of like a platform to try to, or a blueprint, if you will, to, to try to find ways to outshine or beat WWE. But with that being said, I do agree with Eric Bischoff on this, because I also think that that is exactly what AEW has been doing with CM Punk. It's like after he first, was introduced and debuted on AEW, there hasn't really been a real plan with CM Punk. I mean, he's not really involved in any real, invested ongoing storylines, no rivalry or beef. I mean, the most interesting rivalry and beef, if you want to call it that he had, was against Powerhouse Hobbs, and Team Taz. He hasn't really, done anything outside of that. It's just like Eric Bischoff says, it's like basically AEW just, trying to milk, trying to get as much money as they can off CM Punk. Let's just have CM Punk, show up, wrestle, because it's CM Punk, we're going to get the views. And unfortunately, as good as CM Punk is, he's not John Cena. He's not The Rock. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think he's Brock Lesnar, for that matter. What I mean by that is that he can't just show up and you're going to get ratings and views. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you're going to have to involve him in an ongoing storyline.
Well, he did, though, right? What he wound up doing was, when he first showed up, they were at 1 million people, over 1 million people who viewed, and now it trickles down at just below about 600,000.
Well, because it gets stale. I mean, there isn't really, other than us as wrestling fans or CM Punk fans, other than us just being able to tune in to AEW every week and watch CM Punk wrestle. I mean, there really isn't no real intrigue there. I mean, Is he going after a title? I mean, is there some personal animosity that he has against somebody?
Yeah,
what? There's got to they have to give us a reason to become invested. I mean, in the beginning, it was great. CM Punk, oh my God, he wrestled in 6-7 years. This is awesome. So those first initial couple weeks, yeah, it was awesome to just see him in a ring again. But now that it's been a little over a month, that feeling has kind of, waned a little bit. And so now, and it's not so much CM Punk's fault. It's just that, like I said, we don't really have any real intrigue or investment to watch any of his matches at this moment.
Yeah, no, it's right. CM Punk doesn't really have a story behind him. They just kind of throwing him in there. And the rivalries are short-lived, which is one of the things.
And you can't just sprinkle Punk dust.
You can't just sprinkle Punk dust. But Chris, how are you feeling about this? Do you think that they are misusing Punk, or do you think they're kind of using him the way that they wanted to? I mean, we have to think about this. CM Punk is in his 40s. CM Punk hasn't wrestled in 7 years. So at that point, I mean, maybe they're protecting him from himself. And when he does wrestle, he gives good matches, but he's always main eventing. There is no real story. Like I heard something, this is 15 years in the making, the rivalry that he has right now. And I'm like, I didn't know nothing about this. What you think, Chris?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, yeah, CM Punk is older. And anybody that watches him knows that he's a shell of himself from the glory days. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of what he was with WWE, in terms of how he moves, I think that the personality is still there. Obviously, people still love his personality. They still love his mic work and his promos. But I don't think the wrestling is as good as what it used to be. But he is getting older, and it's not his fault. He kind of got that push at a late age. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't get on with the WWE at a really young age. He got on with the WWE kind of at a later age or whatever, so he wasn't really able to grow with the WWE and things of that sort. As it pertains to Eric Bischoff, I'll get into Eric Bischoff, then I'll get into AEW. As it pertains to Eric Bischoff, he just cannot let it go. Christian or Red, sorry, you hit the nail on the head. He can't just let it go. And it's an old case of the way I did it is better. The way I did it will be better, and there'll never be another way. Listen, I know exactly how he did it. Why? Because I was there. In the words of Skip Bayless on every single topic, I was there. So I know exactly how Eric Bischoff did it. But listen, like you said, Red, he should take it as a compliment that AEW keeps mentioning them, because as an inspiration and as a mold on where they want to take the AEW, where they want to take AEW. The only thing that I feel like that he kind of takes as a shot is when they kind of throw out there, well, we're not going to hit the wall and fail and drop off like WCW did. But they're starting off where WCW was. And I think that Eric Bischoff can take that as a compliment that they're highlighting that. And that this is the current not Monday Night. Well, yeah, this is the Monday Night Wars of this generation. You know what I'm saying? But it's really It's Friday night. It's Friday Night Wars.
It's actually wrestling war. It's wrestling wars. This isn't WCW Nitro going against WWF Raw. This is literally AEW as a company going against WWE.
True. But yeah, as it pertains to how they're writing CM Punk, the excitement has died down. Whenever he made his first appearance, we were excited just to see CM Punk because he hadn't wrestled in years. So the anticipation of that made us excited. But now that's died down. and you gotta have something. You gotta write them in a storyline. You gotta do something.
Yeah.
Get the people invested in a storyline. And AEW has not done that with CM Punk so far.
I will say this in defense, or Eric Bischoff. He did make a good point. I had read something at one point in time, and this is when this was right after all this big free agents was signing over AEW, whether it was Miro, formerly known as Rusev, Andrade.
They're doing good with him, by the way.
Whether it's Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. I mean, AEW struck gold obviously over the summer. But I remember reading something that Eric Bischoff had said. He was saying this is when Bray Wyatt had just got released, and obviously the rumor is that Bray Wyatt will more than likely end up signing with AEW. And Eric Bischoff obviously didn't necessarily disagree with getting Bray Wyatt, because that's a huge signing. What he had the issue with is when Bray Wyatt should debut. And, he was, because the rumor at this point was that Bray Wyatt was probably going to debut like sometime like last month or something like that. And Eric Bischoff said like, well, hold on now. If it was me, at least back during the way I was running WCW, if it was me and I had just signed Bray Wyatt, I would hold off until the beginning of next year before I debut him. And the reason being is because, number one, you just already brought in all these new fresh faces and new signings and stuff like that, and you're shoving them all in front of the camera. There's already limited camera time as it is. You see what I'm saying? And so you're already trying to find different storylines and different rivalries, or whatever you want to call it, matches, TV time, television time for all these other new signees that you just got. So the thing is, if you continue to bring in new signee after new signee, all of a sudden that television time and storylines for the writing team and everything like that gets crammed. And then on top of that, say if you did find a way to make Bray Wyatt work at this point, the thing is that basically you done shot all your ammo out of your gun. You done empty your clip. You know what I'm saying? Say you only brought 2 clips to a gunfight. You done emptied both your clips, within the first couple rounds, first couple shots. You done emptied both your clips. So in order to keep this thing going, you have to make it stretch out as far as you can to keep the excitement coming. Because if everybody's all in on the new signings right now, but once you done got all the new signings out the way, then what? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think that's the thing. I don't even think they worried about the new signings. I really think that, especially from a fan standpoint, they're just happy that they love this. It's a battle, and we're taking your talent.
But I mean, right, from that standpoint, yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, the fans
No. I'm piggybacking off of your point, though. But that's where it ends. The excitement comes. We took that away from you. And then after a couple weeks, we see them show up. Oh, my God, Kimber leave. They're on another wrestling promotion. And then that's the mystique kind of falls off.
Right, exactly.
I'm piggybacking.
Right, yeah. So, and I think that's kind of what's going on with CM Punk. Is basically what I'm saying is that y'all done brought all these new signees after new signees, and now we're in a situation where not only CM Punk but even Bryan Danielson, although they're getting television time and they're getting matches, they're not really involved in any actual ongoing storylines. And that's the issue. You're not giving anybody a reason to become invested other than, hey, just tune into our show every week and come watch CM Punk and Bryan Danielson wrestle. I mean, That's really it.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally do. I see that. And I think Eric Bischoff's issue is, he wants to be the only guy that gave WWE a run for their money.
Too. Definitely.
That is the issue.
He has a huge ego right there.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want to That's the reason why he doesn't want to give them their credit and give them their flowers, because for these 25 years or however long it's been, that's all we've ever talked about. You can't talk WWE without their battle with WCW, and Eric Bischoff will be damned if anybody else gets mentioned in that area of challenging WWE. So that makes.
But my thing is this: Eric Bischoff is like, I mean, don't get me wrong. What you did was unprecedented. I mean, here we are, as you stated, Jay, 25 years later, and there still has never been a wrestling promotion that has been able to go toe to toe and actually, beat. I mean, come on now, 2 straight years where WCW beat WWE. I'm not just talking about in the demo rating. I'm talking about in overall viewership. You talk about 2 straight years where WCW beat WWE in overall viewership. Obviously, that's something that I don't know will ever happen again in the world of professional wrestling. But Eric Bischoff, if I'm you, I wouldn't really try to talk all that much, because at the end of the day, we all know how that story ended. You got bought out by your competition. And the rest is history. WCW was no more after that.
Yeah.
So,
If AEW needs to learn from the mistakes that WCW had and what Eric Bischoff was doing, because one of the things that I hear constantly is back then it became a circus. When you got Jay Leno fighting on TV, and it became a circus.
Trump.
Dennis Rodman, and
Dennis
Rodman
was actually.
It's a different story. It's a different story.
Dennis Rodman's actually worked because of his character.
I got you. Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone is a different story because they are athletes at the end of the day. Professional athletes, NBA stars at the end of the day. But listen, man, when you got Jay Leno,
wait. Dennis Rodman's real life story, made it perfect for NWO. Being wild, it made it perfect for NWO. But continue. Your point is still valid. I just want to put that out there that Dennis Rodman actually fit.
You know what?
It just became a circus.
Hold on. Yeah,
and
go
that's
ahead,
what I heard,
Chris.
It became a circus, and that's what I hear was that started the downfall of WCW.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
But
man, we got to move on. We can stay here all day. Hey, man, but thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of Rumble House Sports. It's your boy, Jay.
This is Chris.
And this your boy, Red.